here. So usually Northwest water is very clean, but it could be contaminated because a lot of gas stations and stuff and debris is going to go into the sewer. They told us rats were going to run up the drains because the water levels are so high. So if you've never had a filter in Washington, which I think you're okay up to this point, definitely get a filter for your shower and for your sink for brushing your teeth, and definitely try to invest in those. I saw some at Costco online the other day for the shower. Just get whatever you can, but we're definitely going to need to really and globally be aware of water. I see huge issues with water, and it won't be surprised if something came out because of the full moon in Cancer, which is a water sign, okay, or in the naked and Pisces season. Now, when it comes to diseases, I see a lot of diseases. I'm not quite seeing. I'm seeing something COVID-like, something that destroys tissue. Something that's combination of almost like the Black Death, but COVID. So some kind of hybrid thing. I do see people dying and being in quarantine. And this message came to me in a really interesting way. It was kind of like a collective message from the loved ones that passed away in 2021 and 2020. I know a lot of us lost loved ones and pets and people in between that window up to 2022. One of the things that I'll call them the deceased were saying collectively to share with you guys today, because this message came last night, was like, a lot of us didn't want to be a burden on it. It's kind of like when their souls had to decide if they were going to come back to the earth or leave. A lot of our loved ones decided to leave because they saw what was going to happen and how difficult it was going to be for us to take care of them. So even if we were going to get some more years with them, before they go, some of them decide to give up that energy to come and guard us and help us, because one of the things, and this goes into the next thing I've been seeing a lot as I've been meditating for you guys and for just the messages connecting with the universe, I've been seeing a lot. Again, this is more in the US, but it could be global. They showed me that movie Gattaca. And if you haven't watched that movie, it's an old movie from the 90s, early 90s. It has Jude Law and Gwyneth Paltrow in it. And basically, it's like a neo-Nazi movie about genetics. So Gattaca is the codes for DNA: guanine, adenine, thymine, cysteine. So the four proteins that make up the structure of the DNA. Okay, and it's called that because basically they start genetic testing everyone in the movie. It's a post-Nazi era, but basically the same eugenics and purification that was happening during World War II. Which, guys, it happens all over the world, but it just happened, World War II was a different level of it. We're facing those genocides now with Sudan and also Palestine. And really, African Americans and Native Americans have been in a genocide since the beginning of this country. So when people tell me, like, oh, have things gotten better? Have they stopped killing us? No. Now we have a lot of Latinx people and Mexican people also being basically genocide. These are not detainments. People are dying, okay? And so I'm saying that because what I saw, all that to preface it, one, these are wake-up calls for us. Maybe we come from those populations and we're having deep wake-up calls and epiphanies. Because to keep oneself passive and to feel like everything's okay is also part of the spell, the delusion of colonialism, right? So as we wake up and decolonize ourselves, no matter what gender or race or orientation we are, it is shocking because it's like realizing what has happened and what continues to happen. And so some of us are waking up because we're healing family legacies. We might want something. Why isn't this working? Why isn't that working? Why aren't you making more money? Why aren't you falling in love? Why do you have all these autoimmune? And then you go in your legacy and you see these horrific things. But that becomes awakening because how much has really changed for you? Why is your nervous system so fried still, right? So you can go deep into that rabbit hole, right? And I'm not trying to go down that rabbit hole, but I'm just saying, if your body as a minority or as a woman or as a person that doesn't feel welcome in a space is sick right now, it could be because your brain is trying to tell you you're not safe, but your friends and your family might be telling you, why do you feel so bad? And it's because you don't feel safe, okay? And so there's lots of work we can always do around that, right? But it is an awakening, Spirit's telling me. It is awakening, right? So people are having multiple types of these awakenings, either through lineage, either through injustices, either through health issues. But okay, so to go getting back to the message of the Passover loved ones, because the loved ones at Passover are all different ages and races. They're just giving me the context, right? So what they're telling me is that there's going to be detainments for people that are on disability. Now, what's interesting is I've had several patients and people I know. I put patients in air quotes because I'm not trying to talk about my patients, but I've had several people I've known or that I fill paperwork out and definitely qualified. And some of them are very spiritual and some of them are being denied. And it hit me the other day because, you know, I'm a big advocate and I want to get people what they want and help them and believe them, pain their suffering, right? But one of the things that hit me was like, oh, I think spirit is blocking this. Because you remember I was telling you, even for myself, there were things that were getting blocked. And I was like, why? Why, God? I just want to push through the next level. And things were getting rerouted. And I had to say thank you. Roads as well as opening them, right? Because it keeps us safe. Okay, so the rejection is protection. So some of these things, so some of you, what I'm getting is basically these deceased crossed over collective group of loving ancestors and family members and pets said basically they decided to exit because we were coming into a time where their health issues were going to get them detained. And it would have been too devastating. You wouldn't have been able to migrate, leave, or protect yourselves because let's say someone was on a ventilator. Let's say someone had a heart problem or needed dialysis constantly. We're going into a time where that's not going to be available. Hospitals aren't going to be paying for things like that. If someone was chronically ill and there was like an emergency happening, that person would have had to get left behind anyhow, and it would have caused more trauma.
Hey, Betty. You already know why you're here. Psychic hotline. Tap in. Tap in. Psychic hotline. Tap in. Late night, feel it in your chest. You a goddess, don't forget. Designer thoughts, elevated mind. Pick it up, I read the line. Body energy, I feel the shift. You've been ready for the upgrade, sis. No confusion, no delay. I see it all, I'm here to say. High vibe, luxury flow. You already know what you know. Stop playing, step in your light. Goddess more, yeah, that's your right. Welcome to the psychic hotline. Betty intuition, so defined. Designer upgrades, change your timeline. Yeah, you tapped into the psychic hotline. Welcome to the psychic hotline. Hottie goddess energy, all mine. Elevated, sexy, yeah, you tapped into the psychic hotline. Soft voice, but I speak that truth. Pretty face with the inner proof. No games, I don't chase no signs. I just read what's in your mind. Upgrade season, step it up. Self-love glow, feel up. You the prize, don't forget. Manifest, collect, reset. You that girl, don't dim your shine. Luxury soul, divine design. Everything you need is inside. In psychic hotline. Psychic hotline. Body, goddess, upgraded energy. Psychic hotline. If you want next, I can. If you want next, I can. If you want next, I can.